Welcome to the Authentically Elisa podcast, Reshaping Business with Integrity, the podcast where we explore how to run your business authentically and with integrity. I'm your host, Elisa Boogaerts, a business coach and launch manager, helping coaches launch their programs and events that align with their business values. Together, we'll uncover the secrets to building a successful business without sacrificing morals, ethics, authenticity, or heart. Let's dive in. Let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about how to promote your brand and your business using Instagram in a way that creates connection, builds trust, and grows your income. And today, I have an amazing guest with me, Emily Tosoni. And Emily is an Instagram growth strategist. She helps women entrepreneurs grow in Instagram with clarity, connection, and authenticity. Welcome, Emily. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me, how you got into this field of work and just why you're so passionate about it.
Oh, man. Okay. Let's dive in. I love hearing people's origin stories of how they got to where they are. So hopefully this will be intriguing to others as well. How I got to where I am came from a lot of pivots. So I started with my bachelor's degree was in athletic training, which has nothing to do with what I do now, but I was really passionate about returning athletes to sport after injury and the understanding of all of that. I then got a master's degree in community health. Now, that does have a relation to what I do now because a lot of the focus in that realm is on behavior change theory, why people do or do not, like what is the psychological reasons that people do or do not make behavior changes for their health, because we know that information alone will not drive people to make decisions.
Right.
Information is not the only thing we need. And from that field, working in the public health arena for the state of Montana here in the States, I realized that traditional employment was not the right realm for me. So I ended up starting a network marketing business with a company that had products that I had already been using. And so this was my real venture into entrepreneurship. And what I really loved about the network marketing world was that there were systems and structures already in place. So I didn't have to really figure anything out alone. There was a team, there were strategies, there were scripts, everything was there, and then I could personalize it all. And I was very successful in that business. And it was all in person. So, like so many people, so I should say I was very successful in that business and was able to leave my full-time job working for the health department. And I just thought that would be it. Like that would be the only thing I did for the rest of eternity. I was in my 30s. And then, like so many other people, when the pandemic happened, I had to pivot again because my business was built and very successful from in-person presentations.
Right.
So I started learning how to use social media. Now, let me say, at the time, again, I was in my 30s. I was an early adopter of Facebook, Instagram, MySpace. So I started using all of those platforms when they came out because that's when I was in college. It was a way to stay connected. It was how we like, continue to evolve in the world of all this technology and social platforms. But I used all of those platforms strictly for personal. Like I was not using social media for my network marketing business. I didn't need to because everything worked in person. So I had to learn how to then make this pivot to how do I use social media to promote a business? And in learning to do that so that I could do it myself and teach my business partners, I realized I'm actually really good at this. And my mentor said the same thing. You're really good at using what I have taught you and using it on Instagram specifically. So after a few of those nudges, a few people reaching out to me on social media, on Instagram and saying, "Do you coach women in business?" I just decided, I don't really know where this is going. This feels like a half-baked idea, but I feel like that's when you're supposed to take action. So I started this business as an Instagram growth strategist after learning how to teach my business partners and really finding the flow of how to use social media in a way that was authentic to me because I didn't want to be like everybody, and I didn't want my business partners to be like everyone else. I really wanted, and how I taught it was you have to figure out how to take what works and then put your own spiciness, your own flavor on it. Whoever you are in the world, you show up like that on social media. So I made the pivot to where I am now, a little over 3.5 years ago. And every bit of my professional journey prior to now has taught me so much that I get to incorporate into how I teach women to grow their businesses using Instagram. There's so much to that, but that's the short version of how I ended up where I am now.
Nice. That's awesome. I love the little pivots. I had like something similar. It's so interesting when someone can see something in you and they're like, you're really good at that. You should pursue it. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay. I did
Yeah.
that to you with project management. I was like, sure, why not? Try it. And then the career
Yeah,
flourishes.
exactly. I think that's really important that we know ourselves really well. I think this is a really important point to just make sure and highlight. We know ourselves well. But it's always great to surround ourselves with people who see us in ways that we don't see ourselves, who can give us that kind of feedback because we only know as much as we know. And we are going to be hard on ourselves always about what we know and how we do it. And so when other people can give us that kind of feedback, who we have a mutual respect with, I think that's so important and valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been instrumental in pivots that I've made in my life as well. Those
Yeah.
amazing little conversations.
100%.
So as we, scale our businesses, how do you think we can remain authentic and in alignment with our integrity?
I think this is hard and I think it's also simple.
Hmm.
So I think it requires that we know how to ground ourselves, whatever that means for us, and that we always come back to why we're doing what we're doing. Are we still feeling very connected to who we want to work with and that why and the how? So I say this to my clients all the time that the alignment you need to feel to help you stay grounded in your authenticity is always coming back to who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve them and why? And it has to be more than because I know this information and I want to make money. There has to be greater depth and intention to it than just I'm good at this thing and I can make money from it. So it's more than just monetizing a passion. And as your business grows, things become busier. Everything becomes busier. You get to a place where you're like, okay, I need to hire somebody for this or hire somebody for that or delegate for this so I can block my time for that because you are the heartbeat of your business. And if you are running in all these 400 different directions, which are necessary as businesses scale and grow, you can't give your energy, your creativity, your intention to the thing that is your power, that is like the gift, if you will, that you can offer to the clients you want to work with. So I think it's really important that to keep that authenticity, you have built-in time for coming back to those touchstones of, am I still doing what I'm really passionate about? Is there a way that I should shift or could shift in order to better meet who I am now and who I serve now? Because the other thing that happens when we scale our businesses, and honestly, I think this is true whether you have a service or product-based business, virtual or in-person delivery, whatever it is our ideal client who we're working with will shift. Like the
Mm.
basics, I think, are always still there, but I think we get a better understanding of exactly what we are great at helping them with or offering to them. And so there, you have to build in as a business owner time for slow, intentional evaluation. And I mean, I like to encourage my clients to do that quarterly, every 6 months, if not quarterly, to like schedule a CEO day for yourself or a week, whatever is necessary, and like really do that evaluation. And you can do it by yourself. You can do it with, if you have business besties, you can schedule to do that together, whatever that looks like. If you have a coach, like having a coach for yourself for the growth of you and your business. Again, coming back to what you just mentioned of asking them to help you point things out that you might not see. But I think the whole point of what we're talking about here is that we have to be intentional with making time for this kind of evaluation because we can get so busy in the best way possible as we're growing that we forget that if we don't come back to these intentional things, we'll start to feel burnt out, like totally stuck where we are. Sales will start to stall, and those might be your warning signs of it's time to do some evaluation and just see. While you're still like keeping the wheels turning, your business is still turning, but you have to create that time. You have to make it a priority.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, and just because sometimes you can find yourself going in a certain way with your business. And then it's like, wait, is this right? Like, wait, am I choosing this? Like, or, just because it kind of like, oh, I'm making sales there. So we're going to go in this way. And I was like, oh, is that actually what I want? And
Yeah.
really realign. I love how you said that about too, about how your clients change.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's like, I love being like open to that as well. When you meet somebody or work with somebody and you're like, oh, this is fantastic, right? This is like my ideal clients, what I love about these certain people. And then you
Yeah.
might work with somebody else again and you're like, oh yeah, nope, that's not what I like anymore. Like I used to work with them. I had this just the other day where I had this call and it was more I don't know if they were really like newbies, but people who it was in a mastermind, like I did a pop-up mastermind, and I don't think had known what a mastermind was, and I had done it assuming that people knew what they were and like knew what they were getting into, and this gonna be an amazing opportunity to meet new people and like they're all gonna help with each other's businesses, and so like I was so unprepared for that, and it was like to me it was like a total gong show. It was a total like it came out of that I was like, oh my god, but then I was like, oh yeah, that actually reminds me. I don't like teaching. Like I'm a
Hmm.
project manager. I like, and I don't like leading as well. Like from in front, I like to sort of lead about as behind and like work in sort of like partnership and like groups together. And we all kind of like are going towards the same goal as a group. And so I remember thinking that and I was like, oh yeah, I never thought I had to teach. And like, it's because I don't like teaching. I want people who actually know it already.
Yeah.
So I don't have to teach them. We just go and get stuff done. It's like it was a really nice reminder of that because I know I used to at the beginning kind of worked with those people and then now I've like work with people who are more established. So it's just kind of funny how you get those little reminders and you're like, oh yeah, it's not
Yeah,
in line anymore.
it's such that's such a good example too of your own self-evaluation, like your own self-reflection of what is it that I actually like doing
Yeah,
and where are my strengths and how can I hone in on that? Because I think sometimes we evolve based off of how other people that do something similar to us have evolved, and it
mm,
might not be the right use of our skills and talents and abilities. And I mean, I that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's just a lot to learn. And if we have to be willing to learn from ourselves and what does and doesn't work. And that is not a failure of any kind, right? It's just information. It's just
yeah,
information that we then use to make a pivot or shift or whatever that looks like.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so taking that time to think about it. So let's dive into Instagram.
Okay.
So, give us some tips on how someone can, promote their brand and their business using Instagram and like we were saying in a way that really creates that connection and builds
Yeah.
trust and then also grows their income.
Okay, so there's a lot here. There's a lot I want to say. But I think the first thing I want everyone to know is that I see a lot of times my clients get caught up in the algorithm. I get questions about this all the time. Oh my God, the
Yeah.
algorithm changed again, and what am I supposed to do? And I want to say this. I want you to like stop what you're doing and really listen to this because it's an important piece of all of it. The algorithm is just a reflection of human behavior. That's all it is.
Mm,
The algorithm is literally created to give the people what they want. The algorithm is just Instagram as a business watching the way we consume content and create content and share content and how long we stay on the app and where we're on the app while we're on it. And they then respond to how we use it. So people get very up in arms about, oh my God, the algorithm changed. That's because human behavior changes. That's
right.
all it is. And I think sometimes we use algorithm changes as a reason to like not do it. Oh, well, the algorithm changed again and I don't know how it changed, so I'm just not going to do anything.
Right.
When the reality is when you can learn about how the algorithm has shifted, it's just information to teach you how to better connect with the humans that are consuming the content on the other side of their phone, one person at a time. We're obsessed with how many followers do I have and how many views did I get and how much engagement and all of this. We're obsessed with these numbers. And I will tell you as a scientist, as somebody who has a background in both qualitative and quantitative science and has done lots of research in both realms, that data is important. Numbers are important. It's information, but it is not reflective of your worth or the value that you have as a business owner. It's
Right.
just a number to give you information. I also find it very interesting that, and I mean, I'm saying this because I'm human and I've had these thoughts as well, right? I'm not immune to any of this. We I always love how people are like, oh, I only have 250 followers. I only have 1,000 followers. And I always like to do the reframe of like, if you, with the offer you have, were in a physical space with 250 people that were interested in what you had to offer, how would you feel? Like it's such an interesting shift to make. Like, okay, you have 250 followers. I want you to speak to them with your authentic voice, with the integrity of who you are and how you offer what you offer, like you're talking to them one at a time. Like you're like thinking about the individual people consuming the content instead of how can I get more followers? How can you talk to the people that already want to hear what you have to say?
Yeah.
So, obviously, I feel very big feelings about that. The other thing that I always say to my clients is what you do, and I'm saying this to each one of you, I'm saying this to Elisa, I'm saying this to myself. What you do is not unique at all. There are at least 1,000 other people doing exactly what you do, what I do, what Elisa does. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing unique about what we do. The uniqueness is in how we do it, how we offer
Mm,
it. And a lot of times with Instagram, with any social media, but with Instagram specifically, we're trying to duplicate what has worked for someone else. We see reels from individuals, or we like look at somebody's profile who's maybe in a similar niche to us, and we compare. And then we think, oh my God, I have to do what they're doing. I have to dance in my reels, or I have to do I have to like, all these pieces. If you want to do that, that's fine. I like dancing in reels and being kind of silly and foolish because it's just part of my personality. I like embracing my awkwardness. It's it's like part of the integrity of who I am. So you'll
right.
see me doing that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be me. I don't want you to be me. Nobody wants you to be me. Your Instagram should be a reflection of you. You can certainly look at the content other people are creating that has been successful when we talk about like the metrics, and figure out then how to make it work for you with your personality and your niche. Because when people are scrolling, and by people, I want you to think about yourself and how you consume content. Because the reality is, most of us are on some social media platform.
Right.
I certainly know people in my life that don't have any social media. I have quite a few friends in their 40s like me that were like, I was done with that and I am off and I am not going back to social media. Okay. So I also understand that some people just aren't on social media. The majority of people are,
Mhm.
okay, statistically speaking. And you're probably one of them if you're listening to this podcast episode. I want you to think about your own content consumption behaviors. What kind of content are you more likely to stop? You're like scrolling. What are you more likely to stop and actually watch and read? Do you read the captions on every post that you're intrigued by? Do you follow every account that piques interest because of one reel? I can't answer this for you. You know. And I want you to use that as your own data, your own information for how you create content. The thing that stops people's scroll is an attractive hook. So the on-screen text, whether it's a reel or a carousel, that makes them feel something.
Mm.
This is why, so when your hook is like 3 reasons you should hire an Instagram growth coach.
No one's going to stop
Literally, it's
that.
no motion. But I said something like, I know that you're doom scrolling right now, trying to get inspiration, and you have been for the past hour, and you're making no sales in your business, and you just want to figure out how to make Instagram work for you. That's more likely, if that's the on-screen hook, if that's like the text on screen as you're scrolling, you're more likely to be like, "Ugh, she like in the room with me? How did
Yeah.
she? It makes us feel something. And if we go back to what I mentioned about health behavior change and why people do or do not make health behavior changes, they do make changes because either they have some sort of terrible health experience or something else happens that's not like monumental, where it's like a an end point, a line in the sand where they're like, well, that's it, and it
Yeah.
different for everybody. And this is the same with social media, but people are more likely to make those decisions when they feel like there's a direct impact on them in a negative way.
Mm.
So, and by this, I mean, again, like most people are not going to just change behaviors or make decisions because we give them information. If information was all we needed, we'd all be millionaires because the internet is literally teeming with information and misinformation. There's a lot, anybody can put anything out there, so there is misinformation as well. But if information was all we needed, we have access to it literally at our fingertips now. You don't even have to, I mean, again, I'm in my 40s. I remember when I used to have to go to the library or like we had an encyclopedia set.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I remember. Um, right? That's how you got information. Now, literally, like just pick up your phone and
Yeah.
look for what I do this all the time because I have a 7-year-old and he'll be like, Mommy, can you tell me what's the largest fish that swims in the sea? And I'm like, uh, let me like Google that real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know all of this stuff off the top of my head. But again, if information was all we needed to help us make decisions, then those of us we would all be millionaires because we could just share the information we know and people would buy. The reason people purchase is because we make them feel seen, heard, and understood.
Yeah.
And when you can create content that does that, and then your ideal client, your target audience, your avatar, whatever word you use, then they care about what you know because they know that you care and understand what they're struggling with. They know that you like actually understand because you verbalized it in in the language that you used in your text, in your caption, in your spoken word. You're speaking directly to them. One of the highest compliments I think you can receive is when someone says, "Oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one," or "Oh my gosh, I saw your reel or your carousel or whatever, and it spoke directly to me." Then you're doing your
Mm-hmm.
job right. You're doing it right. You're letting people know, the ideal client you want to work with, that you see them, you hear them, you understand them, and then they want to know, what do you know and how can you help me?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I love
Yeah,
that. Yeah. And you got to tap into that too. And yeah. And a way of doing that, right, is to actually like speak with people and actually see like what they're thinking and do that market research and use their words so that you can relate to them. Um,
100%.
yeah. Yeah. And I think that's also a great thing. Like, as you're working and you're working with your clients to be listening to what they're saying, right? And like, so like often when I will get on a phone or a Zoom call, we're going to do like some project update with a client. I'm like, how are you doing? They're like, oh, keeping my head above water. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
let's try to like make you more buoyant so that you don't feel like you're about to drown. And so
yeah,
phrase, like they actually say it to me in the call right then and there. I'm not even doing market research. They're just saying it to me. And, so you can use stuff like that. So always be listening for it, because that's
Yes.
exactly how you'll tap into the emotion of how they're feeling and how you get them. Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a great example. That's exactly, take the exact words that they use. Everything Elisa just said. You take the exact words that they use. Because the other part that happens is a lot of times you start to make this shift. Okay, I'm gonna like talk to them with language that will elicit an emotion, so they'll stop their scroll. But the language you're using is your language.
Mm.
It's your niche or coachy language or professional language, and that's not where they are yet. You have to speak to them where they are right now, not where they want to be. You can certainly explain this transformation, this help you can offer them, but first you have to grab them with the phrases. So, like that phrase, you could turn that into such a great hook. Like if you're sitting at your desk staring at your computer thinking, how can I keep my head above water with all this work I have to do? Then you've landed on the right profile, because that will speak to the business owner who's like, oh my God, I'm drowning. I can't keep my head above water. They will feel that, and then they're more likely to stop and actually give their attention. And I'll use this as a moment to say, I, it's not that we lack the ability to focus or give our attention to things. So we hear this a lot that like we have short attention spans. We have no attention span anymore.
Yeah.
But the reality is our brains are literally created to rifle through information, to sort information, and to only give focus to the things that are important to us. That's how our brains were created. Can you imagine if you had to literally, this does have, it is, I don't remember the name of the diagnosis, but like, can you imagine if your brain remembered everything that ever happened to you, your whole life, everything you ever learned? Literally, you would go mad. I
Yeah.
mean, you're just not built for that. Your brain is supposed to sort through information and focus on what's important for you.
Yeah. And
And
everybody's filter is different too.
exactly. Our filters are different. What's important to us is different. Like, if you can keep this in mind, then when you create content, you remind yourself, if I can help my ideal client to see my content as I understand them so that their brain understands this is important to you, this is information that's important to you, I'm more likely to stop my scroll and actually give attention to what it is you have to offer. It's not that we lack attention span, it's that now we are sorting through trillions more bits of information than we've ever had to. So our brains are having to work harder and harder and harder at identifying what's important to us. So when you can make this shift with your content, and it's not just social media, it's your blog posts, it's your newsletters, it's your emails. Like I just did a post about this yesterday, today, that said like literally no one woke up this morning wanting to join your email list. No one woke up and was like, "Oh my God, whose email list can I join today? I can't wait for more email." Like that is not a thing.
Said
And
no
we're
one ever.
like, I have such a great newsletter that's delivered weekly to your email. Girl, I am certain your brilliance is in there. No one's signing up for it and no one's reading it because you have made it about you so far. I
Right.
know the information in your newsletter, in your email is important to them and relevant, but you have to make them understand that in order to get them to even sign up in the first place. And the reason people sign up to get information from you is because you have something of value to them that is important and relevant, and that you have an understanding of their past experience of what didn't work. So you can speak to those things in the content that leads them to get on your email list in the first place. You
Awesome. I love it. I love
feel
it.
all the energy coming out of me, like I get so into all of this.
Well, these have been such amazing, like, yeah, I really love all the mindset shifts that you can have of that. Cause like you said, yeah, like at the beginning, right? Like people are so worried about the algorithm or what's trending right now, or it has to be this way, or like I gotta do a reel like this, or that person did this. And yeah. And that probably worked for that person because they were able to tap into that emotion, because they were able to, like exactly all the things that you said. So you need to think about you and the people that you want to help and how you can portray that on your social media to get them to stop. And I really love that you talk about the whole algorithm thing, because like, yeah, it changes all the time. Like nobody, I don't think, actually has an idea about it. Like, for all of the different social media platforms. Like I even know somebody who, he's like a LinkedIn expert. He has his own software that like uses LinkedIn to help people like get more clients. And LinkedIn hired him to train his people to use LinkedIn.
Yep.
And then to use his software to use LinkedIn to get, and I was like, what? He's like, yeah, they're hiring me to train people who work for LinkedIn. Like, well, there you
Yeah.
go. Or they like have thousands of engineers who are working on the website and the algorithms every day, and they are constantly changing it. So yeah, it's a kind of like, like you said, that like let go of that, let go of trying to figure it out, because you're never going to be able to, and talk about the whole human behavior thing, and also what resonates with your people, how you can hook them in, tap into that emotion,
Yeah.
and yeah, and give them, what they need and where they're at right now and how you can help them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. This has been so awesome. I love that reframe, because I think it can really like relax people a bit more, right? Like we don't need to be so like worried
Yeah.
about all of it. It's all good, just be you, be your authentic self, and yeah, and help your people come in.
Yeah. Let the pressure go and create one piece of content at a time and let it be the guide to the next step on your pathway, whatever that looks like for you and your business. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
this has
Let the
been
pressure
great.
off. Let
Take
it
the
go.
pressure off. Well, let it go. So, Emily, where can our listeners find you online?
I'm on Instagram and it's Emily, spell Emily Tosoni, Tosoni with an underscore at the end. And you'll find me on other platforms, but Instagram is where it's best to connect with me. And I answer my own DMs. So if you have questions, if you're like, oh my gosh, I heard you on Elisa's podcast, send me, and you have a question, just send me a DM and reach out. I'm a human and I use a platform like a human. I'm there to answer your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And to finish us off, do you have any final words of wisdom?
I guess my final words of wisdom would be remember that everything you do in your business takes time. So give yourself the 30, 60 to 90-day window to implement something and take the pressure off that it needs to be an overnight result. Give yourself the time and remember that you only know as much as you know, and it's okay to delegate and or hire people to help you with the things so you can scale your business from where you are.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful having you here. I've loved this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Elisa. This was great.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you to live a more authentic life. I'd love your help in inspiring more people to live authentically. So please follow, rate, and leave a review so we can create a ripple effect of authenticity. Until next time, stay true to you, be bold, and thrive on your own terms. This is Elisa, signing off authentically.